Hey everyone, welcome back to the recovery channel of OCD Recovery, where today I'm going to talk about a question I'm asked a lot on my ROCD calls. What is it like to not have ROCD anymore? And what's it like to be in love and be married with a child on the way and all the other things? And I would say I have a very great relationship. We both work very hard at our relationship. It doesn't just come from me, it also comes from Erica. It's a camaraderie. No, we don't get things right all the time. Yes, we still get in disagreements. No, we don't really raise our voices at each other that much anymore. Maybe that happens maybe once, twice a year, but it might last for like a minute and it comes back down. We both apologize, etc. So what's that like for me, where I was, what my ROCD specifically looked like, and just kind of want to talk about why I don't have any fears surrounding connection, not feeling in love, or anything like that. So before I go any further, please subscribe, hit that like button down below. I just kicked the stand. Phil at OCDrecovery.com, and I have to talk pretty loud because Darth Vader, breather, Daisy's over here. She loves, by the way, no one has ever said anything. Someone the other day for the first time was like, "Is your dog near you?" And I said, "Yeah, why?" They're like, "I can hear her breathing." Can you hear her? She's just looking at me. She's like, "Make your video and shut the fuck up." So, okay. Why don't I have any ROCD cycle at all, or haven't had it for years? I have no expectations on love and connection. Yes, I would like to feel connected or in love in certain situations. Camaraderie, when we're walking, having a conversation, talking about how we're going to raise a child, even though you just learn as you go. I understand that. Whether there's an intimate moment, romance, kissing, all the way up to intercourse, anniversaries, traveling. I have no expectations on how I should or should not feel in any of those moments. If I'm very much feeling in love, and by the way, I don't think about love at all, ever. Like, I never have a conscious thought about whether I'm in love or not, or whether this is a loving feeling. I do perform actions, behavioral traits to show my affection towards my wife. So let's say we both work very late. It's not uncommon for us both to work till 7:30, sometimes 8:30 or 9 p.m. sometimes. So let's say I get done with work at 7 and she gets home at 8:30 because she has late chiro patients. I will feed the dogs, make dinner, have everything ready. So when she walks in the door, because she needs a little bit more sleep than me. Like if she slept 5.5, 6 hours a day for months, it would really affect her. Understandably so. It doesn't affect me nearly as much for multiple different reasons. And then I'll have dinner made. And that's a loving behavior. And I act the way I want my relationship to look. We have camaraderie in our finances. We have financial meetings. We have shared accounts. We have all separate credit cards and debit cards, but we work together as a business. But we also both realize, by the way, I'm extremely fortunate because I'm only one half of the relationship. If she wasn't the way she is, it wouldn't be the way it is right now. You know, if I was with someone similar to how I was in the past, it would have been an absolute fucking nightmare. So, because I went through a lot. I put her through a lot. I had all the adult website problems, the cheating issues, I want to do what I want to do whenever I want to do it. And that's understandable. And, you don't have to be in a relationship or married or have kids to have a fulfilling, content life. This idea that you need to be in a relationship, well, the studies say that in order to have a loving, good life, you need to be married and have children. That's absolutely 100% horseshit. That's an outdated, made-up, it's a myth. It's total myth. No science, can't quantify it by any data whatsoever. No matter what, I know 1,000 people that are religious, and then nothing again, I'm just using this example, and they could be non-religious, that are married and have children, and they have meaning and this and that, but they have a bunch of other problems in their relationship, and their relationships suck. We have a 55% divorce rate after 8 to 12 years in America. Not because marriages don't work, it's because the chances, it's straight luck, it's shit luck, that both people can come together, work on themselves individually, come together, bring their tools they've worked on with each other, and bounce back and forth off one another and feed off each other in a positive environment most of the time is very rare. It's very rare. And things change as you get older. The other person, gets cellulite, or they lose their hair. They're not as attracted. They might smell different. Their glutes or their butt might not look as good. They might not be as, they might have erectile dysfunction problems. There's a million different things to happen. But, and again, it's your choice whether you want to stay or leave. I tell people all the time, staying or leaving is not the problem. The belief is needing to know if the relationship is right for you. That's the main problem in any relationship, wanting the certainty. So, and again, because I don't have those expectations, expectations, and I primarily act the way I want to feel. My connection, my love, my intimacy, all those feelings come a lot more natural to me, but I'm never gauging them. My brain is never, what about this, about that? It's those expectations. And, people forget they want to change the way they feel before they act the way they want to feel. They want to change the way they feel before they make action steps towards living in accordance with what they want the relationship to look like. It's what most humans get wrong, OCD or not. Now, my ROCD, which I didn't even want to admit I had ROCD because I did see the weakness, years and years ago. Am I with the wrong person and the fear of no connection? My belief was, and many people have this, and by the way, the belief system I'm about to talk about, which I didn't even know I had, Rob and I had to break this down over, 6, 7, 8, 9 months. A lot of people have this, and a lot of people are afraid to have this. We live in a completely different time. We have more options today. If you don't struggle with getting partners, or you struggle having romantic one-night stands or connections or friends with benefits, if you don't struggle with making enough money to live on your own, we have a lot more options today. You don't need someone to build a household, to raise children, because each one of you can't afford, to be on your own in that way. Well, that's not true, because depending on the city that you live in, that definitely is true today. If you live in big cities like San Francisco and Dubai, New York, Miami, you don't make good money. So obviously there's always caveats to every situation, but it's a different culture is what I'm trying to say. So for me, because I don't struggle with communication, I don't struggle with speaking to women or men or anything like that. Communication has been one of my strong suits. Anger was not. 0 to 100 was not. So there's things I was really good at naturally and behaviorally, and things I was very, very bad at. All pros and cons there. Even the most successful people on earth, the best public speakers you've ever seen, more than likely have other issues in their life that are affecting them. There might be an alcoholic, you just don't see it. So, and because of these things, and I liked my independence, I thought that being with one person forever was moronic. It was stupid. It made no sense to me. I said, why would I do that when I can, be with multiple different women? I can do what I want to do. I can live on my own. I could be with women or not be with women. I can make my own money. I would consider myself, if we're going to use the term, a workaholic. It's something I like to do. I like dedicating my entire life to a mission. And I will grind and grind and grind and grind and grind until I give myself the highest probability of achieving a goal. And it doesn't mean it's going to happen. I don't need those things. I don't need a relationship. And then Rob would say to me, all that's good and fun, but you're acting like you're not missing out on other things by letting Erica go. And I couldn't see that at the time because I was so rigid. I was so black and white. And, my father was like that. So, I love my dad, and he died years ago from cancer. But, he was an attorney. He made great money. He can be on his own. And he modeled me in that way. I'm like, God, look at this man. He doesn't need anyone. He doesn't have to answer to anyone. He could do what he wants to do. He makes the money he wants to do, and this and that. And I always joke and say I'm very happy I didn't go to law school because my sister's a lawyer and a lot of family members are lawyers, and Erica's side as well. And I would have definitely been, I probably would have worked I would have been bad because I saw the way the partners worked. And I know how I would have been if I didn't have OCD and I went to law school, it would have been horrible. Absolutely horrible. It would have been egotistical, money driven to the max, nothing inherently wrong with that to a degree. There are definitely a lot of problems, and I would have just been like, my goal is partner. My goal is to be a multimillionaire, and my goal is to step on everyone in my path and achieve my goals. Like I can admit that because I know that's how I lived for years, and I've changed a lot with my belief systems and unconditional acceptance. And so that changing that strengthened my relationship. But I did not change for Erica. I did not stop watching adult websites for Erica. What is it today? The 11. So in 10 days from now, it'll be 3.5 years, no porn, no fat, no addictions, no cheating, no anything. I'm so proud of that. I did that for me. I did not do that for Erica. I did not do it for my unborn child. It has secondary benefits for her. I did it for me. And because I did that for me, it also created a secondary and tertiary experience of higher and higher connection with my wife, which I guarantee. Didn't want to say I knew for certain, but it was a high probability that would happen because I was putting all my focus back into my wife. But I wanted to change. I wanted to give the relationship a real shot because I've created so many problems in my life with back and forth and this and that. And so this is how I got myself to have natural loving emotions with my wife. But again, I don't need Erica in my life to be content. I would be devastated if she left or she cheated on me or she died or something. I would be devastated. But that's a natural human reaction. But do I think I'd be able to go on and live my life? Sure. May I marry again? I don't know. There's no way to know. I mean, I hope if I die in a motor vehicle collision tomorrow, I hope she gets remarried. I hope she does. I hope she has a child with someone else, or she raises the kid with someone, as terrible as that would be for her, I would not want her to be alone for the rest of her life. That means I want her sleeping with other people. I want her doing those things. I want her to get over me and with the memory of there and doing that. And I have these very open-minded, realistic perspectives about what I'm missing out on and what would happen if I died, or losing my wife and stuff like that. And so it brings this natural flow of emotions. I know it's like an octopus right now. I'm hitting all these different tentacles, but it all comes back. The legs of the tentacles all come back to this belief system of I don't really have these super strong, I need these expectations to be this way. Of course I want things to be a certain way, but I don't hold them the same way you do. So, and because of those beliefs, those are the beliefs I have with my ROCD. It was very hard to be like, no, I'm going to, quit the adult websites. I'm going to, go no fap. I'm going to put all my effort into, because I had a big problem with that stuff. I'm going to put all my effort into my relationship, and I'm going to give it a real shot, which means my brain, I felt very flat. I felt very empty and distant from Erica. I was extremely withdrawing from adult websites. I watched them for 40 minutes a day, basically, for 20 years. I mean, as many people do when they're quitting in their mid-30s. I found porn when I was 12? So, I was watching it every day by the time I was 15 years old with the dial-up, AOL dial-up. So, great images back then, huh? So, but I did all those things because I wanted to put that risk in there and give myself the potential for a better life. There's very risk-orientated there. I didn't know, and I felt like I was missing out on certain things. I felt as if I was losing out on things I wanted, and I had to make peace with that. This is the decision I chose to do. Even if I am missing out on other things, it's not the end of the world. Even if I don't feel the connection I want to feel right now with my wife, I'm still going to act behaviorally. That didn't change overnight. It took a long time to build that up. And that's how I got to where I am today. I've been recovering from ROC for quite a few years. So phil@ocdrecovery.com. There is hope, regardless if it's the way my fears hit me or you have the fear of being with it doesn't really matter the angle. You can break down your fears, you can change your behaviors, and you can recover. There is hope, I promise. Hope to hear from you soon. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.